Lamine Yamal has arguably been Barcelona's most impressive player this season thus far, and whenever he comes onto the pitch, you just know that something is about to happen. He's only 16 years of age, yet he's already that player that everyone will look towards to make an impact and turn the game in Barcelona's favor. But he is still only 16, and we don't want him to become the next Bojan or Ansu Fati. So how should Barcelona actually manage him to make sure he reaches his potential? What are the dangers, and how can they avoid them? Well, that's what we'll discuss in this video, so make sure to stay tuned. First of all, let's talk about the best role that Xavi can give to Lamine Yamal for the remainder of the season. When it comes to pure talent and quality, it's true that he would deserve to have a starting spot in Xavi's lineup, but it's just too early for that at the moment. Right now, this season, the best thing for Xavi to do is to use him as a rotational player, to let him start some games and to let him come in as a substitute in others. That's what Xavi has done up till now too, and that's the right way to go about Lamine Yamal's playing time. But why can't he be a real starting 11 player yet? Because remember that Barcelona might be better off and be at their very best with him in the lineup. Well, first of all, as you know, Lamine Yamal is only 16 years of age, which means that he's not even a full-grown man yet. His body is still developing, and Xavi and the staff have to take that into account. He's up against defenders that have trained and played at the highest level for years, so physically it's only logical that he'll need some time to get to that same physical level. To really be able of playing consistently at the highest level, he should have the muscle mass and other training that really allow players to safely play consistently on that kind of intensity without getting injured. And this goes especially for wingers, by the way. They're always some of the most explosive players. They do a lot of high-intensity sprints that have them at risk of getting injured. They dribble a lot, which means they're the most tackled players as well. Wingers are the kind of players that you should treat with the utmost caution. If you look at how Barcelona managed Ansu Fati, you see that they often wanted to rush him back from his injuries because he was one of Barca's most impactful players. But as he was still young and hadn't even played at the highest level for that long, and as he had a very explosive playing style as a winger, it was a recipe for disaster. Barcelona knew they were taking a risk with him by not being patient and not giving him the time to adapt and properly develop physically, and they got the consequences. That's something that they have to learn from for Lamine Yamal. And especially if Lamine Yamal gets injured this season, which is normal, you know, injuries can always happen. It doesn't even have to mean that he's injury prone, it would be important not to panic, which would honestly still happen, and they shouldn't ever try to speed up his recovery in any way then. He's 16, he's got time. So just give him the time to slowly adapt to that intensity of professional football. If you let him have too much game time, like we saw with Pedri as well, he might end up in the same kind of cycle as Pedri. Be crucial for the team, always play, don't get enough rest, get physically overloaded, get injured, recover, but you rush back because you're that crucial for the team, and over again. We don't want that to happen to Lamine Yamal. It's not only about the physical side of things though. Lamine Yamal has been getting compared to Messi day in day out up till now. He's been called Barcelona's future talisman by every possible newspaper. His popularity has been rising enormously. It's a real sudden explosion of attention, popularity and expectations that he's been getting. And Barcelona have to be really careful to not let him get overwhelmed by all of those things. Especially his close environment, the other players, Xavi, they need to keep him with his feet on the ground. They need to keep him focused on what actually matters. Barcelona's next game, and how he can positively impact it. That's the only thing that actually matters for Lamine Yamal at the moment. It's not about all of those comparisons or the popularity. The best thing is to really keep him away from the media and to let him focus on those actual important things. I'm sure a lot of you remember Bojan. Back in Guardiola's time as a Barca coach, he was the next big thing. He was seen as a talent as big, if not more impressive than Messi. He wasn't bad for Barcelona, but he never managed to properly cement himself into that team. Primarily because of the expectations, the pressure and the attention. And honestly, the same thing might have been happening to Ansu Fati last season when he didn't manage to reach his usual level anymore. It's definitely something that they need to put emphasis on with Lamine Yamal, because out of all talents, he's definitely the one with the heaviest expectations and pressure. Of course, it will be frustrating at moments that he won't play, considering he's probably Barcelona's best and most impactful right winger, but overall, when looking at the long term and his eventual career, it really doesn't matter that he's not a starting 11 player yet. No matter the amount of talent, players have never missed out on some of their potential by not being a starting 11 player in their teenage years. Look at Messi or Iniesta. They had a couple of years, in 24, 25, 26, that they weren't real starting 11 players yet they were important for the team. They were just managed in the right way. And if you look back at their careers now, nobody will tell you that they would have been even better if they had played more in those early years. They weren't rushed and eventually were allowed to become the players that they could become. Again, this is something that Barcelona have done wrong with Ansu Fati and Pedri. They were too caught up in the moment itself and lost track of the bigger picture and didn't think about the eventual careers of Ansu and Pedri. And I'm not saying they won't reach their potential, it's just that a lot of their progress has stagnated because of injuries. And by the way, even Messi in those early years got injured sometimes. So it's really a matter of being patient and not panicking when it comes to Lamine Yamal as well. In the coming seasons, Lamine Yamal will gradually start to get more game time, and by 2026 he could be a starting 11 player who has fully adapted to the intensity of professional football. For him to get there, we have to be patient, and by then he would still only be 19 years of age. That really makes you realize that we've got time to let him adapt, and it would just be stupid to rush him. He could very well be the best player in the world and a Ballon d'Or candidate at 20 years of age. Where have we seen that before? Well, those kind of expectations, that's exactly what we should stop with. We just need to focus on the present really and let him become that player. Cause even at La Masia, that kind of talent won't come around after him that soon. That was it for today's video. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed it, and feel free to share your own opinion in the comments down below. Força Barça, Força Lamine Yamal, and have a good day.